Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're taking a look at the AR160 assault rifle, which is one of the new weapons in Naval Strike. I was hoping that DICE would shake things up a little in Naval Strike and add some more quirky weapons into the mix, but unfortunately it looks like the AR160 is just more of the same. In fact, the AR160 is almost exactly the same as the AK-5C carbine, except for the assault rifle damage model and a slightly better standing ADS spread. It's also very similar to the AUG A3, which is pretty much the same gun except with bullpup characteristics. The AR160 uses the standard assault rifle damage model, dealing a maximum damage of 25 out to 8 meters, which drops off to its minimum damage of 18 at 55 meters. It also fires at a pretty average 700 RPM, which is towards the slow end of the pack. Now, the slow firing assault rifles tend to be easier to control, and they tend to be fairly accurate at long ranges because of this. The AR160 has a fairly high vertical recoil of 0.5, but only a slight pull of 0.2 to both the left and the right. Because of its slow rate of fire, you won't be feeling this recoil as much either, which means that with a bit of recoil control, it's fairly easy to stay on target with this gun, even out to fairly long ranges. Its fast muzzle velocity of 650 meters per second also helps to hit targets at longer ranges, and leading fast moving targets should be much easier as well. Unfortunately though, close quarters is not this gun's strong point. It's got a super fast tactical reload of 2 seconds and a decent empty reload time of 3.15 seconds, which does help you when engaging close quarters targets in quick succession, but very rarely will you have the damage output to chain enough kills together to make this count. I find that most people in Battlefield 4 tend to run with weapons with a 750 plus rate of fire, so you're at a pretty distinct disadvantage when you eventually run into one of these players. Even though the AR160 is pretty good at mid-range, you're still not going to be able to reach out to the distances a DMR could, and at some point you're going to have to get into CQB. My advice with this weapon would be to try and play a bit more cautious, and if you're not the kind of player who likes to play passively, then maybe switch up to the ACE-23 or something. I played a few good rounds with this gun, especially on Conquest large maps, but eventually I just got sick of losing to or trading with guys running faster weapons. As soon as I switched back to the ACE, my KD got a lot better, which is probably because it suits my run and gun playstyle a bit better. It's not that I can't see the benefits of slow and accurate ARs like the AR160, the AUG and the AK-12, it's just that they don't really fit in with how I like to play the game. So what attachments would I recommend for this weapon? Well, I run with a few different setups for this weapon, and to be honest I feel like the gun has the kind of stats to work well with pretty much anything you throw on it. Apart from a one-time sight, obviously I'd aim for a setup that will give you a bit more of an advantage at longer range. The magnifier will help you to reach out and touch enemies a little better, and the stubby grip is an obvious choice to reduce your spread increase per shot. To curb the weapon's vertical recoil, I was running for a while with the muzzle brake in conjunction with the stubby grip, but I also found that the angled grip can also be pretty useful if you like to tap fire a lot. For a closer range setup, I can't imagine the suppressor would hurt too badly. Sometimes staying off the minimap can help you do well with a slower firing weapon, because when you have the jump on an enemy, it doesn't really matter how fast your weapon fires. I was running most of the time with the laser sight, and while I probably wouldn't rely on hip firing this weapon at anything beyond point blank range, it can definitely help you win a lot more head-to-head gunfights if you don't have to take the time to look down your sights. Most of the really close range head-to-head gunfights I was able to win, I won because of the speed advantage hip firing gives you, so even with a non-bullpup AR, I definitely wouldn't rule this out as a tactic. The only attachments I probably wouldn't run with this gun are the heavy barrel, which adds to an already high recoil, and any of the high-powered optics like the ACOG. So what are my final thoughts for this weapon? Well, it's sad that DICE still hasn't added much variety into the assault rifle class. I mean, there are interesting guns like the FAMAS and the SCAR, but most of the ARs tend to be pretty boring average rate of fire guns like the AR160. They're not bad weapons, they're just not unique. Hopefully DICE will eventually introduce some of the hard-hitting ARs from Battlefield 3 like the G3 and the AN94, because I felt like these weapons actually brought something different to the table. As I said before, the AR160 doesn't add anything to the assault rifle class that isn't already there, and it isn't probably a weapon I'd rush out and unlock. It was a lot of fun to use on larger maps though, and overall I don't mind it. I know there are a lot of fans of the AUG out there, so if you're one of these guys then I'd say the AR160 will suit you just fine. But for all us run and gunners though, you just can't go past the ACE-23 or the M416. But anyway guys, that just about wraps it up, and as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And if you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below. And if you have any suggestions for loadouts or weapons that you'd like to see in future videos on this channel, then let me know in the comments of this video or send me a tweet on Twitter at BillyEatWorld. But anyway guys, until next time, see you later and have a good one.